Hey guys, welcome back to another Disney Pixar Connection video. We are talking about Easter eggs. Now, if you haven't caught up with all of my content because I have been pumping it out lately, we are themed up a little bit. I'm going to be switching gears shortly, but we have 3 more videos to get through in terms of Easter eggs with the Marvel content, and then we're going into Pixar. So, if Marvel's not your thing, that's okay. If Pixar's your thing, that is awesome. Whew, so much to handle. So much. Anywho, we are kicking it up a notch with Ant-Man. Now, Ant-Man did come out later than most of these other movies. Ant-Man kind of just popped up out of, felt like nowhere. But there are some subtle Easter eggs of why Ant-Man is important, as well as Ant-Man being a major, not a small, hint, small, ant. Okay, sorry. But a major part of what is going on. Now, Ant-Man wasn't just Scott Lang. Ant-Man was also Hank Pym. And Hank Pym, who we see in this video, this movie, not just this video, but this movie that we're talking about, well, he worked with Stark. And Hank was the original Ant-Man, both noted in the movie and in the comics, as well as Hank's wife. She was the original Wasp. And while I have yet to cover Ant-Man and the Wasp, there's definitely Easter eggs to that. We know that eventually, sorry to give things away, Hope, Hank's daughter, becomes the Wasp. So make note, they are trying to get the suit and so forth. Anyway, let's cover the Easter eggs because they're quite interesting. And, well, Ant-Man gets dragged into things, as usual. Now, Ant-Man does start off with this meeting between Hank and his wife, aka the original Ant-Man and the Wasp, with Tony, or not with Tony Stark, with Tony Stark's dad. Yes, Stark. And then we flip over to prison where a certain Scott Lang comes into play. He gets out and his buddy picks him up. Now, this is quite interesting. He had originally gone to jail for sticking it up to the man. But that wasn't enough. He still got fired and he has to provide for his daughter. Well, they get a job where they are supposed to steal something. It was a big setup, and he did have help from his friends, although they do come later into play, but not a major role. Not a major role. Anyway, he gets caught and he turns into the Ant-Man. He does a ton of training because he is going to be stealing the Wasp suit. Now, granted, before we can get there, Hank needs a part, and well, Ant-Man was set to break into this old warehouse. It was known as the Stark warehouse, and now it is the Avengers. And Ant-Man, well, he goes in even though they told him to back off. But he kicked Falcon's butt, and Falcon, aka Sam Wilson, was not happy about it. This does come into play in Civil War, so be prepared for that. But he said, don't ever mention this because it was embarrassing. Now, unfortunately, Ant-Man couldn't have done this whole stealing of the Wasp suit on his own. He actually needed help, not just Hank and Hope Pym's help. He needed more. He recruited his friends because, well, it turns out they were a major part of this, at least in this scene, where this particular friend became the security guard, and you had the two outside being the drivers, and that really did come in handy. Now, I also want to make note of this room. They do have hidden Mickeys, as well as it looks very familiar, like a certain X-Men facility. Charles Xavier. Just saying. Anyway, a fight ensues. They end up going to Scott's little girl's room, and another big fight happens. Well, this is important to note because in this room there are several Easter eggs. Toys. There is the piggy bank, although piggy banks are pretty popular it just reminds me of Toy Story, and we know that there are Easter eggs. They could have picked anything. There are piggy banks, well, not just as a piggy, so, you know. And then there is Thomas the Train. Now, that is not owned by Disney, but interesting that they picked Thomas of all trains. Now, in this fight, Scott did end up in the quantum realm and he was able to escape. Now, this is important to note because of Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, as well as in the Endgame. This will come into play. And also, there is a new movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantitantium. I don't know if I said that right. Anywho, so this will definitely be a major role in the future. Anyway, all is fixed, and of course we have our Stan Lee cameo. He is the bartender. And we have this particular person. We don't know who exactly she is. She hasn't come up. I also want to make note, this particular individual has a Chinese takeout box, the same that we do see in Pixar movies. So interesting. Anyway, back to that lady. She ends up meeting with Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson said not to speak a word of Ant-Man, but they will become friends. Now, Sam Wilson does meet up with Captain America, and they found Bucky Barnes. And this is when Civil War becomes a big thing. What is going on? That was so much fun covering the Easter eggs for this Sunday evening or afternoon or wherever you are and watching this. Anywho, it's been a wild one. So yes, Ant-Man was quite an interesting one. Like I said, we're probably not going to get to Ant-Man and the Wasp until the later half of this year. I will be taking a break from a little bit of the Marvel content. We're going to be covering Moon Knight as they come out, but full-on themed months, not there. Sorry, not for Marvel anyway. Again, the next 2 months will be focused on the Pixar movies, and I have a huge list, and we're going to finish through those. So once those are done, we'll see. Anywho, Ant-Man does get dragged into the mess that becomes the Civil War. And that is what we are going to be covering next week on Saturday. So check in then, and if you are interested in any more content, I have playlists full, and I cover theories on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So be sure to tune in then. And I hope you have a terrific week. I will see you then when you guys check me out next. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'm giving you all big hugs and thank yous and sending you all love.